Toward the beginning of our parsha, the Torah describes both Esav and Yaakov in the very same pasuk. The description of Esav is the following: Vayihi Esav ish yodei atzayid ish sadeh. Esav is a man who knows hunting, and he's a man of the field. V'Yaakov ish tam yoshev ohalim, and Yaakov is an ish tam, a simple man who is yoshev ohalim, who sits in tents. Now, why is it that the word ish is used twice to describe Esav and only once to describe Yaakov? So Chazal want to explain the following. There were two faces of Esav. Esav presented himself as an ish sadeh, as a man of the field. On the one hand, he was a man who worked hard. He seemed to, on the surface, earn his keep and work very, very, very diligently to make sure that he was able to support his family. On the other hand, Esav was a Yodei Atzayid. Esav knew how to trick people, just like he tricked the animals into becoming his prey, into becoming hunted. So too he tricked human beings in the way that he projected himself and presented himself, in the way that he fooled people, was dishonest, unethical, and immoral. So there were two faces of Esav, and therefore the pasuk says ish twice to describe that Esav really had two presentations of himself. But when it came to Yaakov, Yaakov was an ish tam. Yaakov was simple. He was a person who was Yoshev Ohalim. He was a person who presented himself in a way that you could take him as on the surface, as being Yaakov, as being that simple, straight, and honest person. And that's why the pasuk in describing Yaakov only says the word ish once, as opposed to the ish twice used when describing Esav. I think that this is an important lesson for us when it comes to our own lives on a regular level. I once remember meeting a person who presented themselves as being very respectful, very polite, very pleasant, and I was very impressed with them. It was someone who we would all really be happy to spend time with. But then I heard that this individual treated their employees in a terrible fashion, and that this individual was absolutely ruthless, dishonest, and really disrespectful to their business associates, although they were successful because they eventually got what they wanted. And I thought to myself, how interesting. When we look and we think about this idea of Esav having two different faces, and this individual having two different faces, we think to ourselves that as Jews we should not be striving to be like Esav, but be striving to be like Yaakov. Be striving to present ourselves as being consistent, treating all people the same way, in a fair way, in a pleasant way, and in a nice way, and not acting one way in one social setting and acting another way in a different social setting. Not when speaking to people in our shul, or speaking to friends, or speaking to our family members, presenting ourselves in a respectful and nice fashion, but being terribly mean and nasty to our employees or our business associates, but instead being pleasant, respectful, and polite to everyone that we encounter, and making sure that our behavior presents itself as being as Yaakov Avinu and not as Esav, being someone who is consistent in the way in which they carry themselves, in the way in which they present themselves, and that their reputation is such that people look up to them and respect them for who they are and for how they present themselves, be it on a social setting or be it in a personal setting, be it in the business life, in the business world, or be it with their own family. May we be zocheh to follow the example of Yaakov Avinu and truly live lives to the best way that it can be lived. Thank you for listening, and good Shabbos.